Yo, what's up guys? Osco Dan here, and in this video we're going to talk about why you shouldn't do squats or deadlifts. I think I might be sticking to the presentations because I think they're a little interesting. They're kind of like I can express myself more instead of like my camera on the face. I can give you like examples and like pictures of stuff like evidence basically. So I might stick with these for a little while. I might go back and forth. But anyways, in this video, we're going to talk about why you shouldn't do squats or deadlifts. I'm going to give you some reasons why. I'm going to tell you some people about who didn't do squats and who didn't do deadlifts and who said not to do deadlifts and shit like that. Kind of like sources, references, credibility. Just adds more credibility to what I say because it's backed up by someone higher than me. All right, cool. Let us begin. All right, reason number one, it built a blocky waist. Now, every powerlifter I've seen, well, some of the people I see on Instagram, like some of the powerlifters I follow, you see the guy on the right, they always have like a blocky waist like that. Like when they tend to like have a full flex, like when they're taking like a gym selfie and they flex their abs, they have like their waist looks like their obliques look thick. It's like it, if they look square basically. Like there's no V taper. I don't really see much of a V taper. I see more like a square. Like it's all they're one line. Like there's no V taper, and it looks kind of weird. And I definitely think that comes from deadlifting and squatting a lot because they do a lot of like powerlifting, like squats and deadlifts. And I think that mainly comes from the deadlift because the deadlift works the core a lot. It's really really core based movement. Now, I'm not saying don't do squats or deadlifts. I'm just saying some reasons why you shouldn't. But the thing is, it's like when you're beginning to like bodybuild or like building up your body or whatever you want to call it, you're getting into training. I definitely recommend do the basics. Like I used to deadlift. I mean I still do squats here and there, but I used to do squats, deadlifts. I mean lunges. I did all those like exercises back in high school when I was doing football. But now it's like I don't do those movements anymore because I know some other movements to shape my body. I know how to get like a symmetrical look. I know how to get the proportions correctly to have this aesthetic physique that I want. And I'm just saying, here's some reasons why you shouldn't do deadlifts and squats. Now if you want to replace the deadlift with something, you can replace it with like let's see, hyperextensions. That works the lower back pretty good, and you'll be really safe. I mean, compared to doing deadlifts, people who do deadlifts are kind of like more prone to injury. I mean, you could tear a bicep, you can pass out and then fall back into the rack. I mean, there's tons of stuff that can go wrong with the deadlift. But again, there's tons of things that can go wrong with like any exercise, like the bench press, the squat, the shoulder press. Like tons of things go wrong. All right, so here's a reference to back up the deadlift. Vince Gironda, he was not a big fan of the deadlift because he said it would give you a blocky waist. His recommendation was to do hyperextensions instead of doing deadlifts. I mean, another good references to look at is Artemis Dolgan on Instagram. He does not recommend deadlifts either because he says it will give you a blocky waist. And Artemis used to be fat. Artemis used to be kind of fat, and then he trimmed down, and now he has a small ass waist. And he doesn't really do deadlifts or squats that often. I think he does them here and there, but he's a good reference because he has a small ass waist too. But yeah, there's two references right there to back up the blocky waist thing. All right, that's all I have for the deadlifts. Now let's move on to the squats. Squats will give you a fat ass. A good example, pointed out by Vince Gironda, and it does make sense. Sergio Olivia did have a fat ass. I'm pretty sure he did a lot of squats. Another thing, if you say you can't build good legs without squats, let me give you a perfect example of someone who had damn good legs. Mohammed, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's on YouTube now. Mohammed Mackay, one of Vince's students. Dude, he had shredded legs, man. He did not squat. He did not squat. I think he did a lot of front squats, hack squats, leg extensions, and leg curls. And another thing, Arnold didn't do a lot of squats. He wasn't a big fan of the squats because he was too tall and he couldn't get the stretch full. He couldn't get that deep. I mean, Franco could get deeper than him because he was a shorter guy. And squats didn't work for Dorian Yates because he just said they didn't work for him, so he preferred more of the Smith machine squats. And Vince is another guy that also recommends not doing squats, but he does recommend doing squats in the Smith machine. So that's two. And number one, another guy, Jack Dillinger. really famous bodybuilder. You can look him up. Very credible guy. He says keep away from form of squats that can enlarge the buttocks. There you go. And Artemis, I think he also says that squats will also give you a fat ass and thick waist. I also am not a fan of these squats because it gives me a fat ass, and it's kind of weird because like one time I went to the grocery store, I went to the Sam's Club, and I was like walking out, putting my cart away, and some lady was like, "Hey," and I was like, "What's up?" She's like, "Can I tell you something?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You have a nice ass, by the way." And I was like, okay then. I mean, it was kind of like awkward. I felt like a woman. Like it was just like weird. I mean, I know girls like a guy with a nice ass, but it's like, dude, like you know what I mean? Now I know how to feel. Woman feels like when a guy hits on her and says, "Oh, you have a nice ass." So yeah. All right. So let's wrap this up. We talked about how squats didn't work for Dorian Yates. He preferred Smith machine squats for quad development. Vince also recommended that. He wasn't a fan of squats, but he was okay with you doing squats in the Smith machine. Arnold didn't do a lot of squats because he was a tall ass dude. And then we also talked about Jack Dillinger. Keep away from the form of squats. It can enlarge the buttocks. So you can build a good pair of legs without squats. And you can build a really good back without deadlifts. So yeah. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, share this with someone who does squats and you kind of like want to prove them to them wrong that, oh, squats and deadlifts do build a fat waist and a fat ass. And thank you for watching. This is Osco Dan checking out. Peace.